Welcome back to the Personal Foul Podcast. I am your host, Colton Guest. Alongside me is my co-host, Phil. How the heck are you, sir?
I'm fantastic, as always. It's always a good day when you know that the Dolphins have won and the Jets have lost. Always a good week.
Again, it is indeed a good week when the Jets do suck. And, man, we'll get into the Jets here in a second. But, again, before we get started, make sure you follow everything on the ticker. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, liking our page, subscribing to our YouTube. It's not difficult. Follow the instructions below on Facebook at Personal Foul Podcast and on YouTube. Subscribe at Personal Foul Pod. Check us out. We appreciate it. We had a lot of interaction last week, so we appreciate you guys. Make sure you're liking. Make sure you're sharing it. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're commenting. It all it does is helps us. So I appreciate everyone. Last week, that was awesome. So
and make sure you recognize the genius.
Yeah, the genius did go 3-0 this week.
Damn right he did.
Genius back on the wagon. We both were positive this week, so can't wait to get into that in a little bit. But again, I'm Colton, that's Phil. Let's get right into it here. And you mentioned the Jets and how dumpster fire the Jets are. Well, Joe Douglas on his way out the door for the New York Jets. Kind of weird because you think Aaron Rodgers is the GM, so why is Joe Douglas on his way out? I don't know. But seriously, this team's a dumpster fire. This team is everything you imagine as Jets fans. It has come crumbling down in the first 2 years of this Aaron Rodgers experiment. And I can see Aaron Rodgers walking away at the end of the season because this has been an absolute train wreck for the New York Jets. Phil, thoughts on the Jets' mess?
Look, it's no surprise I kill the Jets time and time again. They're a useless franchise. Isn't that right, all my Jet friends out there? Especially you, my nephew, Indy. There are bums. They've always been bums. They always will be bums. The Jets are a trash, dumpster fire of a franchise. I'm not going to lie if I sit back here and say, I feel bad for all these people. I feel bad for Saleh. I feel bad for Joe Douglas. I feel bad for Aaron Rodgers. No, I don't. I enjoy it. I enjoy every damn second of it. The hell with the Jets. They can go 0-17, and that still wouldn't be enough for me. I'm sick that they actually won 3 games this year. What does worry me, though, is that we still have 2 games against the Jets. We should beat them both times. The Dolphins, when I say we, it does, kind of worry me because, Miami's Miami, and they know when to, shit the bed when they like to do that. But we'll get into that when we get the head-to-head games. But in the meantime, Joe Douglas did an atrocious job. I don't know how he got fired before Chris Greer, because Chris Greer's done an even worse job down in South Florida. But Douglas is terrible. He has not hit on any of his picks. Sauce Gardner, maybe that's about it. It was really enjoyable watching Richardson, who I have to say, I got to give you credit for that last week. You said bring Richardson back, and what did he do? He ran over that bum. Who was that, number 4 in the end zone? Who was that? Damn it. What was his name? He ran him over in the end zone for that final score. It was a great moment. I loved every second of it. Watching number 4 go crumbling down like a heap was pretty much the synthetic Jets season right there. It was like the Leaning Tower of Paris finally crashing. I loved every second of it. The hell
That'd be DJ Reed that got ran over.
DJ Reed, thank you. He folded like a lawn chair on that hit. You got destroyed by a quarterback.
Phil loves seeing the Jets suck, and I think a lot of people like seeing the Jets suck, so I can't say I feel bad for them.
I do. Jets suck. They're done. Even if Aaron Rodgers comes back, big deal. He's toast. He's in the – now, be honest now. He's in the lower tier of quarterbacks. I would put him down there. I can't put him in especially the top half. He's probably in the lower third right now. He's not making good decisions. He's holding on to the ball way too long. He's getting sacked at will. He's playing scared out there. I think he's done.
Yeah, I think if you were to look at the quarterbacks in the league, he's definitely in the bottom tier for sure. I think he's down in that bottom, 6, 7 quarterbacks. I think he's down there.
I would put both of your Steeler quarterbacks ahead of him.
All right, you're silly. I mean, you're very silly. Yes, clearly you're going to put those guys that are 8-2 in the franchise that you shit talk all season. I can't wait till we get to Pittsburgh in a little bit.
I picked them last week.
Oh, congratulations! You ran your mouth about Pittsburgh every single podcast you do. You make fun of Pittsburgh, as you like to call them, and here they are, 8-2.
Isn't that right, Chad Franelich? They're still Schittsburg.
So you know what? Screw it. Let's head to Pittsburgh because we'll leave the main event for after the Steelers game. It did open up the 1 o'clock window with this great. By the way, this had to be the great weekend of football. By the way,
it was. There were a lot of good games this weekend.
So again, we'll start off with the best of the best, and that would be the battle for the AFC North title here for the Steelers' first divisional game of the season. I can't believe it's taken until week 11 to get a first divisional game for the Steelers, but I digress. Here we are. And the Steelers do what they do against Lamar Jackson. They turn Lamar, who's untouchable, Mr. MVP, and they make him look like dog water. And again, I kick and crap on Mike Tomlin all the time. This season, I have to hold up the white flag, and I have to pump the brakes of my Mike Tomlin hate because he's done a hell of a job.
He made the decision. Coach. I know you don't want to hear this, but
I know he's a Hall of Fame coach. It drives me nuts because I think he's underperformed with talent on this roster. But again, he's earned a big hand up from me this season. He's been great.
I think you owe an apology.
I have given him an apology. I gave him the apology a few weeks back when he made the big boy decision to go to Russell Wilson, which, again, a lot of people in the organization did not want him going to Russell Wilson. He stood by himself and said, I'm going to Russ, and he's looked like a genius so far. I know Russ had a bad game this week.
Not a genius like me.
Well, sorry, he looks like a genius because Russ is now 4-0. You are now 4-0, so sorry to tell you. But, yes, Steelers take care of business against Lamar Jackson. They own him, flat out. The Steelers own Lamar Jackson.
And I don't want to hear any more talk about Jackson being the MVP. He's not even the MVP on this team. It's Derrick Henry. I mean, Lamar went 16 for 33, 207 yards, touchdown, a brutal interception. And more importantly, Derrick Henry went 13 for 66. This is 2 weeks. Last week, he had 11 carries. This week, he has 13 carries. What the hell are you saving him for? This is Derrick Henry. He's the best running back in football. And then on that abortion of a 2-point play at the end of the game, Henry's not even out there. I mean, not even do a play action pass and then roll Lamar. I mean, come on. What are you doing there, Harbaugh? That's atrocious. You got out-coached. You got outplayed. I mean, Baltimore, they're a fifth seed. They're going to probably play Houston in the first round, another trash organization. But, we'll get to that later on. Baltimore is in trouble. I think they're in big-time trouble because they got a brutal schedule ahead of them as well. I think they got to play Cincinnati twice.
No, they're done with Cincinnati. They played them twice already.
Oh, they did play them twice. They got Cleveland twice.
I think they have Philadelphia. Right, I think they have Philadelphia. I think the
Eagles. Yeah, it's a tough go for Baltimore. Too bad.
Too bad. They got the Chargers. They got the Chargers Monday night. Then they have Philly, I believe, after that. So does not get easy.
Chargers are no pushover either.
Does not get easy for Baltimore. So again, Steelers take care of business, and the main event of this window. Yeah, Phil is indeed unprepared.
How am I unprepared? The hell are you, Anvil?
You just said the Ravens have the Bengals twice. They've already
Cincinnati, Cleveland.
You've had them twice already, Phil. They've had two of the highest scoring games of the season. Have been both the Ravens-Bengals games, by the way. But again, you're unprepared. That's fun. That's why I carry the show, and I drag you along. I'm like you
carry my job
truck, and you're the trailer in the back. I got you, Phil. Come on along for the ride. So, again, we will chug our way to Buffalo, New York. And, again, another great game. Again, like we mentioned, this Sunday was definitely the best, probably Sunday of football this season. And the Buffalo Bills take care of the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, we've kind of all seen the chinks in the armor of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is kind of the game Buffalo needed, As people like to say, Buffalo wins these games early, where the Kansas City Chiefs will win them later. So the Buffalo Bills get their win over the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think we just mentioned Lamar Jackson, MVP. We have the number one MVP guy right now, and that would be Josh Allen in the NFL. Your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills defeating the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend?
Buffalo does what Buffalo does. They win the big regular season games, and now when it comes to playoff time, they shit the bed when it really matters. 15 seconds. Do we have to reiterate that? I mean, Allen played a hell of a game. You knew the Chiefs were going to lose one sooner or later. I mean, they get a cupcake this week against Carolina, but Mahomes didn't look great. 23 for 33, 196 yards. He had 2 interceptions. Allen, he wasn't great either. I mean, 27 for 40, 262. His legs is what saved him. He was 12 for 55, that big rushing touchdown at the end. Kansas City, did you know that they won 15 straight in a row dating back to Christmas? The Raiders were the last time that they lost the game, which I found out was pretty impressive. But, Buffalo's Buffalo. They're going to win a division. They're going to, get the number 2 seed in the playoffs. They're going to have to probably play Baltimore in a divisional game while Kansas City gets a bye and then a home game against a crap team. And then Buffalo's going to have to fly over to Kansas City, and they're going to lose another heartbreaker because that's what happens.
That's all right. I'll let you try it over Pittsburgh. They're going to host a playoff game. That's fine.
Oh, come on. Are we really going to talk about Pittsburgh with Buffalo and Kansas City? Are you really putting them in
1,000% they're in the discussion.
Come on. Pittsburgh's going to get destroyed when they go to Kansas City. By the way, Pittsburgh, second game in a row, they won a game without scoring a touchdown. How long do you think that's going to last?
Again, that's always how the Steelers-Ravens games are. By the way, thank you. You didn't go Steelers. Screw Phil.
Please don't compliment him. He just does not deserve that.
Go Steelers. Appreciate it, Ian.
I'm not up because the Jets lost.
Yes, the Steelers did win their second time this season with all just field goals. Week 1 against Atlanta, and then clearly this weekend. Steelers can win in multiple ways. They have the best defense in football. Sorry to tell you, Phil, that matters. And the fact that this team can actually put up points. So, hell yeah, Alex. Hell yeah, Alex. MVP of the week, Chris Boswell, a.k.a. Alex Lund, Chris Boswell. If you haven't noticed, check out Alex Lund. They look very similar. So, always send a text out when Bos makes a field goal to Alex Lund. So, we appreciate
Alex Lund's ass still hurts when I kicked it in basketball a couple weeks ago. That's right. It beat your ass, Alex.
All right. So, again, we continue on.
You're absolutely right, Ian. Saquon Barkley's the MVP of the league right now, not Josh Allen. The Eagles are nothing without Barkley. Absolutely nothing.
Phil, keep the train on the tracks here. Relax. So, again, we'll go to the other ass beating of the weekend. Again, probably the best team in football, and that would be the Detroit Lions. Absolutely urinating on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just like Joe Sliso, the Jacksonville Jaguars suck.
That's right. You suck, Sliso.
So, again, the Detroit Lions urinate on the Jaguars. I think that is the end of Doug Peterson. Biggest one in Detroit history, probably the biggest loss in Jacksonville history. Your thoughts, keep it quick because, again, there's only one thing to talk about in this game, and that would be the Detroit Lions.
The one thing to talk about in this game is that the Lions lost Anzalone. He broke his arm. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. You can't lose Hutchinson and then Anzalone. You think that defense is still going to be churning like the way it is. This was Jacksonville this week. But they got Minnesota. They got Green Bay. I think they got the Bears again coming up. That's going to hurt them. That is a big, big loss losing your middle linebacker like that. And he's been playing at an all-pro level this year. That is the one thing I will take away from that disaster of a game. There's really nothing else to talk about.
There is nothing else to talk about with that game. I got to tell you, a team that could be interesting next season, not this season. Your team plays them this week, and that would be the New England Patriots as they lose to the Rams 28-22. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp both find Painter this weekend. Kind of game you expected. Rams win, kind of have to stay relevant in the NFC West, which is a dumpster fire. Patriots, though, might have their quarterback in Drake May.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, May was he actually played a really good game. He went 30 for 40, 282, 2 touchdowns. That pick in the fourth quarter didn't help him. But
by the way, rookie should not be throwing 40 times a game. Let's be serious there.
Oh, he should, but really, what the hell is he doing in New England right now? I'm surprised he's made 30 completions with the hands of stone wide receivers they got on that team. Mm-hmm. I mean, they got like John Mayer, Joe Sliso, and Arnie Lauer for wide receivers over there. They can't catch a cold, let alone catch a ball. So I'm surprised he got 30 completions. May's played well. That's a nice little building block for the Patriots, and they'll start building around them.
1,000,000%. I think again, looking ahead to free agency in the offseason, I think they're in the driver's seat for T. Higgins from Cincinnati. I know they were linked to him. I think they're in a very, very good spot to get T. Higgins in this offseason.
And Cincinnati can't afford him. They got to pay, Burrow, of course, and then what's his name, Chase. That's their 1-2 punch. That's their bread and butter. They can't pay everybody. But Higgins will be a nice fit in New England.
We head to the side of the Super Bowl, and that would be New Orleans, as the Saints just absolutely roll Cleveland in the Taysom Hill show as he scores 3 times, has himself a fancy day to remember, and urinates on the Cleveland Browns, as do so be. Your thoughts?
Look, Taysom Hill's a flash in the pan. He's going to go. Everyone's going to play him this week. He's going to get 2 points next week. That's how that works with Taysom Hill. What was more impressive was Jameson Winston, coming back home to New Orleans, 395 yards. He had a hell of a game, I thought. I thought he played really well. Judy, finally, he had some relevance. 6 for 142 and a touchdown. He had that 89-yard touchdown catch. Derek Carr played well, 21 for 27, 248, 2 TDs. Cleveland, I was surprised how their defense rolled over in that game, because their defense is a lot better than what is expected, because they've been playing well the past few weeks. I don't know what the hell got into them. I don't know. I guess they were in Bourbon Street on Saturday night a little too long. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, Cleveland. I don't know. I actually think Cleveland wins Thursday night against Pittsburgh, actually. But we'll see that. Right? Cleveland is home, yes. I think the Cleveland's win Thursday night. But again, we'll talk about that next week. Hopefully not. Hopefully the Steelers go to 9-2. But we will travel to Miami with your Dolphins. Dolphins win 34-19. I've kind of, said it to you a few times on the podcast. I think this team might backdoor themselves into a playoff spot here because the AFC, frankly, isn't that good. And, again, the Dolphins are kind of getting Tua back in the rhythm of things here, playing some bad teams, getting Tua back in the flow. They take care of the Raiders. I thought it was going to be a little more comfortable. They decided to pull away late in the game. Dolphins win 34-19. Your team, your thoughts?
Well, the game shouldn't have been as close, but Miami gave up 5 3rd and 8s or more in that game. So I can't take this team seriously when you're giving up at least 5 3rd down and 8s or longer without penalty. I mean, Brock Bowers just owned them. I can't take this team seriously as a playoff team when the Raiders are doing this to you. When Minshew went 30 for 43 with 282, 2 touchdowns, I mean, that's terrible. I'm sorry. Minshew should not be doing that to any team, let alone the Dolphins. As for the Dolphins backing into the playoffs, I mean, let's be real. The NFL as a whole sucks pretty much. You got maybe 6 good teams in football. The Eagles, Detroit, the Steelers, who are an A- team.
They're good, Phil. I know a hatred. They're good. They're good. I'm sorry to tell you. That's fine. They're good. I'm tired of you crapping on the herd. They're good. So sorry to tell you.
They're not great, but they're good.
No, they're
Baltimore.
They're legitimate contender.
But I mean, really, who else is there? Minnesota's falling back to earth. Who else is there really in football right now? You got 5-6 teams, tops. San Francisco, they're in last place. They're not even going to make the damn playoffs the way they're playing. Football, there's way too much parity right now. That's the problem. I think having this 7th playoff team really hurts. I like how the 1 only gets the bye instead of 1 and 2. But I just don't like this 7th seed getting in because it's mediocrity. That's what I think about it. So if Miami gets in, they'll be the 7th seed. They'll get humiliated by Buffalo, because it's going to be, -6 below. What, you think they're going to put up a fight? No. They haven't won there in 12 years. Why would they win a playoff game? Who cares? I'd rather see Miami tank and get a very good draft pick, but they won't because Chris Greer is their general manager, and they haven't had a good draft pick in a long time. I'll get into that into another show. Not today. But
I know you always tease Chris Greer. No one cares about Chris Greer. I think this
exactly.
is the only podcast.
I can't stand him. Why does he have a job?
I think this is the only podcast in the world that mentions Chris Greer as much as like any other show.
Because he sucks.
Okay, well, enough about Chris Greer. No one, our listeners don't want to hear about Chris Greer.
Yes, they do. Damn it! I have
Dolphin
fans.
They don't care who Chris Greer is. So we'll work our way.
If I care, everybody cares.
No one does, Phil. We'll work our way to Nashville, Tennessee.
Well, real quick. One last thing on the Dolphins. They better figure out how to get Waddle back in the coexistence. This guy's been invisible the past month since Tua's been back. Everyone's like, oh, Waddle's back, Waddle's back, Waddle's back. No, Waddle's not back. They're not throwing him the ball. They got Jonnu Smith instead, which I don't know why. Anyway, you may carry on. I'm done with the Dolphins.
Minnesota takes care of the Titans 23-13. Green Bay continues to own Chicago. So, yeah, the Bears. Again, a nice game, a nice bounce-back game for Caleb Williams with the firing of their OC. Caleb looked good. But by the way, I think we got to start looking at Jordan Love. He has some awful interceptions for the Packers. He's had some bad ones this season for how good he looked last season. He's had some bad, wonky interceptions this season for the Packers. But they escape with a win and continue to own the Bears in Chicago with a blocked field goal at the end of the game, 46-yarder. Bears lose 20-19. Team we have to start taking seriously, by the way.
Oh, real quick. That loss is on the coach, by the way, because he had plenty of time to run one more play. Yes. I think there was like 11 seconds. He should have ran one more play, maybe try to get it a little closer.
But just like you about Chris Greer, I think a lot of Bears fans and a lot of the media is the same thing on Matt Eberflus. Why the hell was this guy brought back? Why was this guy here to start this season? Good show from Chicago. So they're a dumpster fire until further notice. A team that we have to start taking some paying attention to, and I texted you about it during the game to check on Big A Lauer because his Falcons suck. I don't know what Atlanta is. Thought this team was going to be a legitimate contender in the NFC. They suck. I can actually see the Buccaneers backdooring themselves into this division with getting Mike Evans back this weekend. But a team that you talked about in the beginning of the season that could be interesting. So I'll give you your credit where it's due there, Mr. Genius, and that would be the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix looks like the best quarterback in this draft. Possibly.
What did he do? 28 for 33, 307 yards, 4 TDs. That's a hell of a game. That is a monster game. He's done a really good job. He's better than Caleb Williams. I don't know if he.
I don't think he's better than Jaden Daniels. What Jaden Daniels is doing, but I think he's definitely above Caleb Williams.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And he's working with less. Which is incredible.
A lot less.
Oh, God.
I mean, when you got Cortland Sutton there.
And that's it. Marvin Mims, and that's about it.
Bums.
Then you have Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze, DJ Moore in Chicago, Cole Kmet.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. Williams should be throwing for 300 yards every game. I don't understand that. But, yeah, it is what it is.
Then we had Seattle steal late against the San Francisco 49ers. You mentioned earlier they might miss the playoffs. Gosh, this has been an epic failure for the 49ers. A team that this might have been their last shot at winning a Super Bowl here before they have to pay Brock Purdy, wherever the hell they end up doing at quarterback. You lose Brandon Ayuk. You finally get McCaffrey back the last few weeks, and they still lose.
Yeah, that's
there's some serious questions in San Francisco, Phil.
You get McCaffrey back. That's a huge shot in the arm. I mean, he's your MVP pretty much, and you keep losing with him. I mean, I don't understand what's going on with the San Francisco defense. They've really fallen apart this year. I mean, everyone's healthy. Bosa's there. Warner's there. I know Hufango's hurt. But they can't miss him that much. Maybe they are. I don't know because teams are throwing on will at them right now.
You know what I think they're missing? I think they're really missing Robert Saleh, to be honest. It sounds stupid to say that, but they've been trying to throw
out him last year.
They've not really. They've been trying to throw in defensive coordinators in the last 3 years since he's been gone, and it's been a new coordinator every single season. They've fired guys left and right at DC. The Niners have a problem, and the problem is their window is shutting here. This door is very much starting to shut on the Niners. I think as soon as they pay Brock Purdy, this team goes down to tubes because you're going to lose players on both sides of the ball. And the problem is I don't think Brock Purdy's the guy to elevate players around him. I think he's good having a nice guy calling plays for him and weapons around him to easily go to. I think as soon as it comes down to, I'm not going to have as much time. I'm going to lose a weapon or two. I think it's going to come trickling down on the San Francisco 49ers. This has been an epic failure for them.
They still got to pay Purdy. Is it this year or next year he's a free agent?
This year.
Yeah, so they got to pay him. I mean, who else are they going to use? They got it. They have no choice. They have to.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. They're in deep deep dog water, I think.
I
There.
mean, what are you gonna do? Bring Aaron Rodgers there?
That would have been the right move if you before going to the Jets, bringing him in. I think that could have been good for them. But
no, that would have been a disaster. Rodgers is done.
He is done now. Clearly, I'm saying before they kill his injury.
3 years. He was terrible last year in Green Bay.
I agree. I think that was also him sticking his nose to the Packers, like, see, this is what I'm doing to you. See you later. And it's kind of worked out from Green Bay. So there you go.
Oh, it's worked out big time.
There you go, Aaron Rodgers. Again, I'm going to skip over it. The Texans annihilate Dallas. We'll talk about Dallas a little bit more going forward. This team sucks. It's all Jerry Jones' fault, by the way. We'll talk about it in a little bit going forward. By the way, they better flex the damn Cowboys at a prime time. They have, I think,
they won't. They won't. I'll tell you right now, they have a lot of primetime games. They won't, because Dallas is a draw, unfortunately. Whether they are good or whether they suck, they are not. There's just going to be some terrible Sunday and Monday night.
I think everyone's ready. Has their 4:00 window for nap time on Thanksgiving as they play Tom DeVito and the Giants on Thanksgiving. Wonderful job.
And you got Green Bay, Miami that night. Thanksgiving night. That should be if Miami doesn't win this week, you might as well just flush that game down the toilet as well. The Bear-Lion game should be good, though.
And speaking of good games to round up Week 11 in the NFL, Sunday Night Football to round out the great Sunday slate, and that would have been the Chargers and the Bengals. And God almighty, Joe Burrow's been putting up some numbers over the last few weeks. But the problem is he continues to lose. This team sucks. They lose 34-27. This is another team. You could throw their window out the door, I think, here. Because, again, you're going to lose T. Higgins, so teams are just going to key in on Jamar Chase. This is a team that's very similar to the 49ers. I think the Bengals are in deep trouble here as far as their window going forward. And, indeed, John Mayer, Phil does suck.
Kiss my ass, Mayer.
So your thoughts?
Cincinnati, they're done. They lost too many games early on. The team you got to start talking about now are the Chargers, because every game is a road game for them. Yet they keep winning. What are they? 7-4?
Yeah, 7-3.
7-3. I mean, you got to start talking about how, them being a playoff team. They would be an interesting. I mean, who are we kidding? Buffalo and Kansas City are going to beat them. I mean, they play Kansas City tough, but they always seem to fall at the end, just, because they're the Chargers. They can't help themselves. But it's a nice story with Harbaugh. I mean, they're running the ball better. Herbert was terrible in the second half on Sunday. I mean, my God, what was he? 17 for 36, but he was 297, 2 touchdowns. But I don't know how the hell, you get it. And the Chargers do this all the time. They get these big leads. And then they just go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Hello, Lou Sasso. Hello from South Carolina. Listen, we got interstate travel, people watching us from all across the country, Colton. And you said this couldn't be done. You said Phil Sitter who? Phil Sitter's a bum? That's right. I bring in the people.
We have Kenny Warren. Again, Kenny, one of these times you'll get my name right, Kenny. One of these times you'll get it right. I'm looking at my phone because I'm trying to look at your picks, which I don't see from last week because we're getting ready to go in and beat the Genius. So I want to see what your picks were. You jackwagon. So thank you very much. I am indeed on my phone because I'm a man of the people, and I have to get these numbers down.
That's right. Because I have a title to win, as always. Because I am your champion in
Kenny did have picks in. All right, there they are, Kenny. I got him, you son of a gun.
What did he do?
He lost the Ravens, you dumbass. Stop betting against Pittsburgh, Kenny.
Oh.
You turkey. I think Kenny went 2-1. I got to see I think the Vikings won by 10. So he did get the Vikings, I believe.
Hello, Renee.
Heck yeah, Mom. How about Chris Boswell? How about it? Yeah, all right, so he won 2-1 just like me. So that jackwagon won 2-1 just like me. How about that, Kenny? How about that? So yeah, speaking of Beat the Genius, why don't we turn our way there? To Beat the Genius.
Let me get the helmet on. I'm Mr. 3-0 again.
Yes, Phil has again got himself back to 500. He is 15-15. I went 2-1 on the weekend and went to 14-16. The Bengals, they suck. Shoved it right up my ass because they can't win a game. 14-16 for me. Kenny Warren goes 2-1 as well. I don't know why I'm like announcing Kenny Warren's picks like he's something irrelevant on the show. He is 8-10 on the season, and I have to check in on Mr. Ray Trimble, who is currently in the leaderboard with 14-13. I have to check on his picks.
He hasn't commented today.
I have to check in and see if he made picks from last week. But again, Phil, the floor is yours.
The floor is always mine. So we're going to start off with, that's a lot of points on the road. Boy, do I ride Detroit again? -7. Boy, that's tough. That is tough. Chiefs -10 on the road against the Panthers. You know what? The hell with it. I'm going to take the Chiefs -10 at Carolina. I think they bounce back. They're going to lick their wounds and take it out on everyone in Carolina. They're sorry, Lou. It's going to be a bloodbath there in your state. Number 2, I am going to. How the hell are the Dolphins -7? I don't like that line at all. Number 2, I'm going to go with.
By the way, it's KC -11.
It's -11. All right, I'm still going to take them. They're going to win by 2 touchdowns easily. I see that without a problem. What do you have the Brown Steeler line at?
3.5 Pittsburgh.
3.5. Boy, do I dare take the Browns and be ridiculed next week if I don't win this? Boy, that's a tough call.
I'm taking Cleveland.
You're taking Cleveland? All right, I won't take them then. I won't do that to you.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. Cleveland. I'm taking Cleveland.
No, you take Cleveland. I won't. I'll stay off that game. I'm going to take Detroit. The hell with it. I've been riding them so high. That offense is just. I mean, that's the greatest 7. Show on turf right now. Minus what? 7?
7.
All right, yeah, I'll take them. And then number 3, boy, do I take another big spread? Jeez. You know what? Oh, man, do I? You know what? Go Birds! Go Birds! I'm taking the Eagles this week. -3 at LA. I see a huge home game for the Eagles. You know what? I apologize, Lou. You are in North Carolina. You're in South Carolina, not North Carolina. I don't know. It's Carolina to me. And yes, we know you're a Pittsburgh fan as well, Lou. You have another Steelers fan here. Or as I like to say, Schittsburg.
All right, so that's your pick.
Look at Kenny taking my pick with Philly here.
Yeah, again, Kenny, it's 3, so I'll try again. And you're going to take Minnesota again. Mr. Gasbag. Yo, this guy's Kenny, you're a funny bastard. Sucks. We have similar picks. Outside of Pittsburgh and Cleveland, I'm taking the Eagles -3. That's going to be a home game for them. The Rams, the fact that they had a tough game against New England, I don't love the Rams. I thought this team was going to be a lot better as soon as they got that first win with Cooper Kupp back and Nakua. Then they lose the following week. It's like, what the hell are the Rams? I'm taking Philly. That's going to be a home game for the Eagles. I am also taking the Detroit Lions -7. We just talked about Anthony Richardson's return. It looked good. Also against the Jets. I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with the Detroit Lions. I think
he'll score some points.
He's going to score some points. I also think he's going to turn the ball over. He's not the most accurate quarterback. I think they're going to be trailing, and he's going to have to heave the ball a little bit, and it's going to end up getting Detroit's way. I'm taking the Lions -7, and I just have a weird feeling with Pittsburgh. I hope I'm wrong. I'll gladly go 2-1 again next week. I think Cleveland covers +3.5 at home Thursday night against the Steelers. That is our picks for this week. Beat the genius.
2-1. Well, I go 3-0 again.
Hey, man, Steelers are always more important to me, so I'll gladly take the Steelers winning and go 2-1 on picks, so that's fine by me. Make sure you get your picks in. Phil might be kind enough to let you backdoor your way into a 30-pack if you end up like going perfect the rest of the season some way.
You're not.
He thinks he's a genius, and you're not. So
I know it
sucks. And by the way, before we wrap up our show, my mom mentioned it. Let's talk about Phil trying to remove a TV Tuesday night. I get a phone call from Phil. Hey, do you mind coming over and help me take off this TV? I'm like, gosh, Phil, of course. I know the kid. I know JoJo's down south. You need some help around the house? Sure, no problem, Phil. I'll stop by. I'll help you take down the TV. He goes, hey, we're ripping out the wall, me and Laura. I can't get this damn thing off the TV. I walk right up to that TV. It takes me not even half a second. Phil, pull this thing down. TV's off. So from Phil damn near ripping his TV off the wall, it took me 2 seconds. Phil's a jackass, an idiot, and a doorknob.
See, you didn't get the whole story here. You didn't get the whole truth. You see, I let my wife take care of the TV like a good husband should because I don't do a damn thing around the house. I don't do anything. I'm the genius. I don't have time to do remedial work like that. That's woman's work, taking down TVs. That's why you did it so quickly. That's why you did it in the snap like that. You and Laura take that TV down.
You're as dumb as the doorknob. That's a problem, Phil. And, I just saw your face. You were embarrassed. You turned all rosy red like you were so embarrassed how much of a fool you are. So, again, I see Kenny Warren talking about the Tyson fight. I'm not even mentioning it. That was a shit show. I don't want to hear word. There's no word. We're not talking about it. I'm not.
Now, I do want to talk about Boston's coach getting fired today for the Boston Bruins. I better get that right. Yes, we're going to do a little hockey talk. Boston's coach got fired. He got into an argument with Marchand, was it last night or 2 nights ago? Then they fired his ass today. Boston sucks. Everything about Boston sucks. The hell with Boston. They can all go lose everything, and I would still be happy.
Well, that was another great show in the books. Again, make sure you get your picks in. Beat the Genius. Had a lot of comments again in the section today. I appreciate everyone. We'll be back again.
Oh, look, Tyler Granato finally chimed in. You know why Tyler was so late today? Because he lost in every fantasy game this week because he sucks. By the way, you got your ass kicked this week too, didn't you?
I did get my ass kicked this week. I don't know if you noticed. I had 0 quarterbacks, Kyler Murray and Bryce Young on a bye. So I trotted out Trey Lance thinking Dallas was going to get annihilated, and Trey Lance would somehow get me 10 points. He didn't touch the field. Dallas sucks. And again, I will continue to win that league as the first guy.
I will win it all.
You suck. I don't. That's Phil. I'm Colton. Appreciate everyone again for tuning in to the Personal Foul Podcast. We'll be back again next week. Make sure you subscribe to the following tickers below on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like and share our posts and our video. The more views we get, the better it does for us. So we appreciate you guys on the Facebook crew. Make sure you please share the video. It really helps. And make sure you subscribe to
hit the like button, you morons. Hit the damn like button.
And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube at Personal Foul Pod. Make sure you check us out on there. Subscribe on YouTube. So I'm Colton. That's Phil. Appreciate everyone for tuning in again. We'll be back again next week, of course, recapping the NFL and all the big news around the world of sports. So appreciate everyone.
Soto talked with the Dodgers yesterday. It doesn't look good for the Yankees.
Who cares? We'll be back again next week. Appreciate everyone.
Here's your trash, Tyler.